I am live on the Loonie Liberal Power Hour with your host, Lance Richards. I wanted to hop on here and maybe, I don't know, tell you what I'm thankful for because I didn't get a chance to. So I said I'm kicked off of Facebook. And that means that I can't get on here and tell you the obligatory what I'm thankful for this year. Of course, I'm always thankful for my children, first and foremost. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me alive, actually. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably be dead or in jail somewhere by now. Truth be told. So first and foremost, it's always the kids. Ginny and Bub. Without them, I'm nothing. So that goes without saying. Of course, I'm thankful for my parents. Another couple of people that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So I must be thankful for them. I must say thanks, give thanks that they rolled in the hay. Thank Daddy for donating and Mama for pushing. And plus, they were pretty damn good parents, too. All things considered, they did a real damn good job on my sister, at least. But what I really wanted to discuss, of course, above and beyond all the no shit ones, the yeah, you live for your kids, thanks mom and dad. These things are, everybody's going to be thankful for that, and you should absolutely be thankful for all that stuff. But something that we need to start being thankful for that most of us take for granted is what we need to discuss today. I know it's days removed from Turkey Day, but this was the first opportunity I got to hop on here and really bust out a Turkey Day when I've been letting it fester, rattle around up in there, trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to say. And I really didn't come up with anything, except for I have a theme. I have a focus. And of course, my focus is something that we really take for granted, and that is American democracy, our republic, our union, our grand experiment. The great thing that binds us Americans together is our righteous notions of for and by the people, government of for and by the people. Very righteous notion. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for endeavoring to form a more perfect union in the process of this government of for and by the people. I'm glad. I'm very thankful for the righteous direction our forefathers headed us in 200 and some years ago. I'm thankful for all the people along the way who kept steering those righteous notions in the right direction at the risk of death, at the risk of being ostracized, at the risk of being threatened and bullied, at the risk of untold problems and issues that they could have. I mean, it started off with those patriots back then. You know, back when we first wanted to start America, and then that English king was taking advantage of us and using us as a colony and just using us like slaves, basically. We were the king's servants. The king clear across the pond was in charge of us, and he had ultimate power over us. So back in them days, we started to get a little bit pissed off about that, you see. And people were starting to stand up. Of course, there were other people that, oh no, we gotta be nice to the king. We gotta stay true to the king. The king takes care of us. There was those conservative-minded people that wanted to stay in the past and remain slaves to the king. There was British loyalists. What do you think Benedict Arnold was? He became a British loyalist. He traded on America and fought. But see, here's the bad thing about it. A lot of those patriots started off in the British military. A lot of those people, they were trained by the Britons. They fought in the Spanish American or the British wars back then. They fought against the Indians for the British. We were a British colony. So if we were in the military back then, we were part of the British military. And eventually these people was like, whoa, time out, man. We're doing all the work over here. We're the ones that's over here defending ourselves. We're the ones that's taking care of ourselves. So why should they get all the spoils? Why should we have to send our shit over there to them? This is our place. This is our country. And we're going to create our own thing. Now, I'm thankful for those people that stood up. And it was not an easy thing to do, folks. Let's be fair about this. Let's try to understand it and be fair about it and get our brains wrapped around the fact that this wasn't an easy undertaking that they did. They sacrificed. They were willing to sacrifice their families and sacrifice their lives to make sure that America started heading in the right direction. It was a lot of peril to do these things. At that time, if you believed in America, you were a traitor. You were the bad guy back then. If you thought that we should have our own thing and break away from the king, you're the traitor then. Off with your fucking head, see? That's the type of peril that they were under when they started to try and create America and find a more perfect union for us and government of, for, and by the people. Everyone's equal. These kind of notions started with these patriots standing up and saying, no more, man. I can't take this shit no more. We're not going to do this no more. We're going to come up with our own way. And I'm very thankful for them people. I'm very thankful for those people that stood up during the Civil War. I'm very thankful for like George Washington for standing up against the Brits. I'm also very thankful for Abraham Lincoln standing up against the Confederacy and saying, no, you cannot treat a group of people unequally in America. We have to form a more perfect union for them too. These people are equal also. We need to steer America in a better direction at the risk of great peril. Abraham Lincoln ended up getting shot for it. He died to make sure that America was steered in a better direction. In public. Got shot right in his head in public for it. And make no mistake, it's because he stood up to ignorance. He stood up to conservative-minded people. He spit in the face of things that he knew wasn't righteous, that he knew wasn't right. Deep down inside, he knew. It was hard for him to reconcile it because, like I said, these people, like I said, up until the last generation, my parents in this country were taught that women were inferior, that black people were inferior, that the white race was superior. That was part of our righteous notion for a long, long time. The white people wanted to be in charge. So like I said, we weren't perfect. We've never been perfect, but we want to steer towards perfect. We want to form a more perfect union. They don't just put that shit in the Constitution just for shits and giggles, folks. They mean those words. Those words mean something. That's an ideal. That's a pillar. Okay? Government of, for, and by the people. Those aren't just words. That's an ideal. Okay? All people are created equal. Those just aren't words. That's an ideal. That's something that we strive for, that we live for, that we want to accomplish. Forming a more perfect union, those just aren't words. We want to endeavor for perfection. We want to try to be perfect in everything that we do. Because if we're perfect in everything we do, then that trickles down. That's the real trickle down right there. Money doesn't trickle down, but endeavoring to be good does. Endeavoring to be perfect does trickle down. People see you and they do one of two things. Either they try to tear you down and make that you like them, or they envy you and they endeavor to try and live like you. And I'm not saying like Jesus. We ain't Jesus. This ain't no martyr complex. This is about being the best human being you can be. These are the ideals that we hold dear. And we need to apply them. They need to be applied to our everyday life. The righteous notions that built America need to be applied in our everyday life. And that's your duty. That's part of your civic duty. That's part of the penance you pay for being American. You get the privilege and the luxury of living in the greatest society in the history of history. Now, historically, people used to have to go to war for that privilege. You know, if you wanted to be a good Roman soldier, if just a regular old person wanted to be a Roman citizen, they had to go to war for that shit. They had to earn that shit. In America, if you're born in America, you are just given the luxury because of all those people's sacrifices before you. Just the fact that you were born here gives you that great luxury. The great luxury of getting to say what you feel. The great luxury of religious freedom from and by. You're allowed to believe what you want, but you can't make nobody else believe it. That's a righteous freedom that America gives you, that you should be very thankful for. You have the freedom of information. You can hear all kinds of sources. The freedom of the press is a very, very, very righteous notion that you should be very, very thankful for. But I don't think some of you are. I don't think some of you even understand it. You don't know how to apply it. You don't know what it really means. So how can you be thankful for it? So it's not entirely your fault, folks. I'm just saying that there comes a time, historically speaking, when great people, good people, have to stand up and tell the bad people to stop being bad. And I'm thankful for those type of people in America because it's happened over and over and over again. Big, important issues that come along. Revolution, independence, civil war, emancipation, women's suffrage. We had to try to start treating them Native Americans better. We had to try to start treating them Irish people and them Italian people and all these immigrants. We had little battles where we had to say, hey man, these guys are equal too. Civil rights came along. Then we started having little scuffles about other people that we were helping and protecting. The Vietnam War was a bad thing. That was a bad time where people stood up and had very strong voices about things. But since then, we went through a long period where we really much had a common enemy. If you give us a common enemy, we seem to be okay. But when we are left to fight amongst ourselves, that's when shit gets a little bit dicey. That's when shit gets a little bit off the rails. That's when you have things like prohibition. When you let these conservative-minded people get in the way of progress, that's when you get things like Jim Crow. You get things like prohibition. You get things like that stray us from the truth, that take us off perfection's course. And that's when some people need to stand up and fight for what's right. Fight for what's closer to the truth. And I think that this particular Loonie Liberal Power Hour with your host, Lance Richards, is dedicated to being thankful to those type of people. To being thankful for things that a lot of us don't really understand that we should be thankful for. A lot of us take for granted the things that we should really be thankful for. Of course, your children are up there, your parents are up there, your loved ones are very far on the top of that list. But right down there below, and maybe even sometimes above, because sometimes this transcends them, your loved ones would not be protected if it wasn't for some of these things. Are the things that make us great, that made and always have made America great. The very first one that we fought for, that we wanted, and everybody's heard this phrase, no taxation without representation. I mean, that's part of our whole history show that we give the kids. That was something that really stuck in our craw. And basically what that's saying is we want a voice. We want to be able to be in the mix of what happens to us. We want to be in charge of our own destiny. We want to be able to question our authority. We want to be able to petition and tell them, no, you need to fucking do what we say. Because this is our country. This isn't a king's country. This isn't the president's country. This isn't conservatives' country. This isn't Christians' country. This is the people's country. And we all have a voice here. And hopefully the most logical and reasonable and closest to the truth voice is what people listen to. So one of the very first righteous notions that you must be thankful for, whether you like it or you don't like it, I'm not asking you to like it. You don't have to like it. I'm just telling you what you need to do as an American. You must be thankful for our absolute right to question our authority. I can sit here and say that Donald Trump is a big piece of fucking shit and then tell you why and how all day long. A lot of countries, you don't have that luxury. You don't get to talk bad about your leader. See, you deplorables, you wanted to make America like that. Oh, don't talk bad about Trump. Oh my God, he's the president. Oh, you got to have respect for the president. Fuck you. You didn't have respect for Obama for 8 years, so I don't have to have respect for your piece of shit. You didn't have respect for our classy, educated, very capable president. You pissed on him for 8 years. And then you had the balls to ask us to respect your piece of shit, punk ass, stupid rich boy? It's not how it works. You were allowed to do what you did with Obama. It was unrighteous and stupid and ignorant and just a bunch of horse shit, but you could do it. Now, for this 4 years, we told you why and how yours is a piece of shit. And you don't like it. Boo-hoo. It's our right. Just as much as it was your right to spew your horse shit, It's our right to spew our truth right back in your face. And that's what happened. We, thankfully, thank you, 80 million Americans, over 80 million Americans. Thank you for coming out and spitting in those people's faces and saying, no, fuck you. No, you're not driving us in this manner. You are taking us away from the perfect road. You are veering off the road towards perfection. I'm sorry, but you are. You're taking a wide, fucking sharp ass, boom, right turn to rock bottom. And we're going to steer us back towards perfect. At least try. We're probably never going to get there in our lifetimes or our children's lifetimes or their children's lifetime. Perfection is hard to get to. Most people will tell you that perfection is unattainable, but we must still endeavor to get there. And it's our job to be the type of people that'll stand up and steer the country back in that direction. And I'm very thankful for you guys. Very, very, extremely. Thank you. Thank you. All you women, Muslims, Mexicans, homosexuals, all you transgenders, all you great Americans out there that stood up and spit in their ignorant faces and said, we don't want your shit no more. It's a piece of shit. You suck ass. And saying it on all the social media platforms, saying it everywhere as loud as they could. Thank you. Now, I had been doing how Donald Trump okey doked you, part 1, 2, and 3. And this is just a little break in between for a little while because I want to try to stray away from that as much as possible. You can always come back and refer to that. And I might bring back out part 4 again if I get it. But right now, it's time to just keep rolling and keep reinforcing, making it part of the dialogue. We have established, and we hold this truth to be self-evident, that deplorables are ignorant motherfuckers. We've established that. 80 million people established that we're tired of your conspiracy theory, we're tired of your conjecture, we're tired of your misinformation, we're tired of your propaganda and your cognitive dissonance, and we're tired of all your ignorant bullshit. And over 80 million of us told you that fact. We're tired of you. And we don't want to listen to you right now. You have no voice unless we say you can at this very juncture. Now, of course, we're going to take care of you and we're going to make sure that you're okay. But we don't want to hear your horse shit because we've got a country to steer right back in the right direction because your direction was bad and it's established. That's a fact now. For at least the next 4 years, that's a fact. Till you guys try and take control again and then bring back your alternate facts. That's a real fact. Is that you lost. The people do not want America to go in the direction you're taking us at all. Even close. America now is going to stand up and fight against the Rona. We're not going to be led to believe that it's not true and it's a hoax and, oh, it'll just take care of itself. No, we, the people, are going to stand up and we're going to fucking take care of it. And we're going to do what we need to do to help America thrive and to beat this thing down. Because it's important that we do. And we know that. Even though you stupid sons of bitches still don't. We know that wearing a mask is preventive. It's prevention. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, folks. All you got to do, all we're asking you to do, is be thoughtful to other American citizens. How hard is that? It's not even that big of a sacrifice. It's not like we're asking you to build roads or build tunnels through the mountain. We're not making you do slave labor for America. The only thing we're asking you to do is wear a fucking mask so you can protect some old people, protect some young people. Don't carry this disease or this virus to somebody else that may fucking drop dead from it. Is that too much to ask? I don't think it is, but obviously you dumb sons of bitches do. And I'm thankful for all those nurses and doctors and healthcare workers and all these people that went out there to take care of people, to make sure that people were taken care of and helped as much as they possibly could, while about 70 million of you just denied it and pretended like it didn't even exist. See, we'll go back and forth here for a long time about how you were wrong and how we're right. That's what this next 4 years is going to be for you deplorables, I'm afraid, is that you're going to have to constantly be reminded about how you were wrong. And people died because you were wrong. Innocent American citizens that didn't deserve to die. You guys do a 9/11 every other day now. 9/11 happens in this country every other day now because of your incompetence and your ignorance and your self-righteous greed. And yeah, I'm talking to you because you're the one that empowered that son of a bitch. You're the one that gave him that power to be our authority that we spit in the face of every day. Because he's unrighteous authority. He was a piece of shit. He threw us all under the bus, folks, and you cheered him for it. And it's getting to the point where we need to start rubbing your noses in this a little bit. I hope you understand that we're going to need to rub your noses in it. Maybe if we would have rubbed those Confederates' noses in it a little bit more and not let them bring in Jim Crow and not let them linger like they did, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess right now. Maybe if we wouldn't have let that racist bullshit linger, that sense of superiority linger, maybe if we would have knocked that in the dirt a long time ago and not taken no more of its shit, maybe that'd have been okay. Maybe if we'd have rubbed their noses in slavery a couple more decades, we wouldn't be dealing with it right now. But we let them still believe that the South would rise again. And they tried. They tried. But as of right now, we're back in charge. The Americans are back in town now. And we're going to start doing what's best for America. We're going to start doing what's best for Americans. We're going to start remembering that all people are equal, that this is a government of, for, and by the people, that we are endeavoring to attain perfection, that we all have freedom of and from religion. We all have freedom of the press and information. We all have the right to stand up and spit in our authorities' face. We all have the right to assemble peacefully and protest against the shit that we don't agree with. And that's what we did for 4 years. And you see where it got us back in charge. Because that's how you do shit in America. You stand up for what's right. You stand up for what's the things that you should be thankful for. Do I need to reiterate them? Do I need to continue to reinforce them, or are they going to stick in your head? Someday, deplorable sir or ma'am, are they going to stick in your head what I'm talking about and how this applies? So let's start again. Let's reinforce again. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal and endowed with God-given rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in order to do so, we are laying forth these amendments, the Bill of Rights. Every individual will be given the freedom of religion, the freedom of and from religion. You shall not establish a religion, and you shall not discriminate against a religion. Remember it. Apply it to your dialogue, to your action. Next, all individuals are able to have all the sorts of information they want. But if you want to make this truth, if your information, if you want it to be held as truth by the society at large, then you must make sure it's credible. You must make sure it's logical and reasonable and close to the truth. You're allowed to listen to whatever you want to listen to, but you can't shove that shit down anybody else's throat. Remember it. Apply it. It's important to America. It always has been. It's one of the things that make this country great. Don't tell me about making America great again. Ever again. Because America's always had great ideals, righteous notions driving it. It's you motherfuckers that pervert it. It's you motherfuckers that take us away from that perfect notion. These righteous pillars that our forefathers laid forth for us. And yes, the Second Amendment is part of that too. You should be able to have your guns to protect yourself and get food if you need it. And yes, hey man, if them Brits come back, if the government tries to take us over, I mean, we're got. If we would have let Trump have the military, we were got, dude. If he got another 4 years and could have got the military all under his thumbs, we got. If he could have turned the military on us, we're got. Because you know why? Because we have the best military on the face of the fucking planet. And if it's ever turned against us, we're fucking toast. There's no question about that. I hope you understand it. But then see, if that ever occurs, of course, the military will probably splinter too. There's going to be people that are like, no, we can't do this to our American citizens. And there's going to be people, oh, yeah, we can, because we can do whatever we want. We're the military. So you'll have in battles there too. So that'll be just a complete clusterfuck if that ever happens. So thank God it didn't this time. But back to focus. Righteous ideals that steer us towards perfection, steer us to truths that are self-evident. All people are created equal, no duh. No duh. We should have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. No shit. Of course, we should be free from religion and free to practice religion. No shit, Sherlock. Where'd you get your first clue? Of course, we should be able to have as much information as we possibly can to find the truth. Yeah, we should. Duh. It's like, no shit. Of course that's true. Of course you should be able to protect yourself and have weapons to protect yourself and to sustain yourself if you need to find food. Of course, no shit. Within reason. Do you truly think that any American citizen should just be able to go buy a fucking tank? Any crazy son of a bitch off the street could just go buy a tank, huh? Driving around town and blow shit up? See, that's not reasonable. Yeah, you want a gun to protect yourself and your family and your house and, go shoot a couple deer or whatever you'd like to shoot. That's fine. But you cannot be turning these guns on citizens. You can't use these guns to intimidate people and do what you want. You can't that's criminal activity. If you use these weapons to intimidate people or to try to get what you want with them, to strong arm people with them, that's not righteous. That's not your right. Your right is to not use your weapons to get what you want. You can use your weapons to protect yourself and sustain yourself. You can't use them to be aggressive. That's not in your right. And that's what you sons of bitches been trying to do. All of you deplorables think that's okay for you to use your fucking weapons, to use tear gas on protesters, to use rubber bullets on protesters. That's what you motherfuckers been doing for the last 4 years. That kind of shit. Spitting in the face of our righteous ideals and our righteous notions for your own selfish gains, for your own stupid, ignorant beliefs. And that's what we nipped in the bud, and I'm thankful for that. Thank you. And yes, that does transcend most everything else. Because if we allow you sons of bitches to take control and take us off the right wing edge, then who suffers? I'll be dead in 20 years, 10, 20, 30 years. I'm probably going to be dead. Okay, but in 10, 20, 30 years, the world that we're driving towards for my children is going to be unbearable. They won't have the freedom of religion because you want to make everybody Christian. They won't have the freedom of the press because you say everything's fake news and you attack the press. They're not going to be able to have their fucking guns because I promise you, if Trump would have got elected again, the next thing he's saying is he's going to want to take the liberals' guns because he's afraid the liberals are going to stand up and take control again. But we didn't use our guns to take control. We used our vote. We used our sacred duty. We did it the American way. We didn't do it the dirty fuck. We're not a colony anymore. We're not colonists that's trying to rebel against a king. We're a government of, for, and by the people that stood up and told you that you're stupid. That's what we are. We're not the conservative, nationalist sons of bitches like a king. You do know that that's what a king is. That's what those Romans were. That's what those British were. They were nationalists. They believed that Rome and Britain could rule the world. They believed that Britain and Rome was the greatest thing and they were in charge of everyone else. They were self-righteous in that notion that they were the greatest thing since sliced bread and that nobody else could get over them. It's just like thinking white people are better. It's just like thinking that men are better. It's a bunch of elitist bullshit. All people are equal. Doesn't matter what country you come from. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what gender you are or sexual orientation. These are truths that are self-evident. You cannot impose any of that shit on the rest of us. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that I was born in a country that's true. That's absolutely true. And that's what's made us great for generations. And if I have anything to say about it, that's what's going to continue to make us great for future generations. These righteous fucking pillars that you've been pissing on for 4 years. And we got to get to that. We got to get that established, folks. That has to be established. That has to be a truth now. See, you're making us tell you that we don't want to fucking hear from you right now. Until you got something good to say, sit over in the corner with your dunce caps on and just thoughtfully ponder what we're saying. Ask thoughtful questions. Learn the error of your fucking ways before you try to tell us anything. That's fair. And that's where we've gotten, and I'm thankful for it. As of right now, that's where we've gotten. And I'm so fucking thankful for it. That the truth is winning again. The truth is starting to win again. And you can see it because Joe is getting his shit together. He's getting that transition ready. He's talking about the Rona. He's getting people in positions that know what the fuck they're doing that can fix this shit that you fucked up. It's starting to happen. The truth is winning again. And I'm very thankful for that, folks. And I hope you are too. I hope you stop taking these righteous things for granted. I hope that you learn how to apply these righteous notions that make America great. Let's establish that too. Trump didn't need to make America great again. America has always been great. It has great notions, great ideals to live up to. We're not always perfect. We're not always right, but we endeavor to be by following our righteous notions, our righteous pillars, the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights. These things are righteous notions, and they're what guide us. And I'm telling you, the words that are in there that make up the pillars. These are the righteous notions that you have a duty to uphold. You have a duty to apply into your belief system and into your actions. And they're simple, and they're very righteous. Everybody's equal. How simple is that? Everybody's equal. Everybody. Everybody deserves the opportunity of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Everybody. Within reason. So that means that we should try to help everybody be equal. And we should try to make sure everybody has the opportunity of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Everybody. Of course, we should help America. And we should try to take care of America. But we have the duty to take care of everybody. That's why we were in Korea. That's why we were in Vietnam. That's why we're over in the Gulf, so they say, is that we want to make sure that everybody lives under the umbrella of our righteous notions. Because it's in our best interest to do so. If we let shit happen over there, eventually it's going to come over here. And that's the point. So we have to be weary of over there. We got to take care of the little dogs. If you want to be the big dog, you got to take care of the little dogs. Whether you selfish deplorables like it or not, we have to have our eyes on the rest of the world too. We have to take care of us, and we have to keep an eye on everyone else, because that's what our job is. Whether you like it or not. Another truth that is established. And how do I get this? From words in the Constitution, from logic and reason, and understanding the righteous ideals that were set forth in front of us. I'll keep fucking reinforcing them. I'll keep pounding them in your head and applying them to new things, because that's what we do. All people are equal, and we should endeavor to make sure that's true. All people are giving the absolute right of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and we should endeavor that everybody gets that as best as we can. All people are given the freedom of religion and from religion, and we should make sure that no, them ISIS motherfuckers aren't hurting people over there. We should make sure that Christian motherfuckers aren't hurting people here. You can believe whatever the fuck you want, but you can't shove it down anybody else's throats. And we should make sure that that is true. Yes, freedom of the information, freedom of the press. Yes, you should be able to hear everything, but we should also make sure that it's close to the truth. We shouldn't let you spew bullshit. And that's what you've done. Audaciously so. It's illogical, unreasonable, inconsistent, cognitive dissonance. Just complete and utter horse shit piled upon more horse shit. And we were too nice to you about it for too long. And now we can't be nice to you about it anymore. Now, if you're being stupid, we need to tell you you're stupid. If you're being ignorant, we need to tell you that you're being ignorant, and why and how. We have to. That's our battle. That's our generation's cross to bear, is that we need to stand up to your ignorance. And we need to bury as much of your ignorance as we possibly can. We need to give your ignorance a dirt nap. And that's what we're doing. And we dug the hole already. The hole's dug. 80 million people dug a hole and said, this is where you deplorables are going. And we want to make it as easy as possible for you. We're going to help you fill in your hole, and you can come on back up here with us eventually, but you're going to have to do the work. I'll give you dirt to fill in your hole, but you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to think about how you fucked up. It's your righteous duty. It's your civic duty towards America to figure out how you strayed so far from their righteous ideals. You owe it to the forefathers and the Civil War veterans and the World War I veterans and the World War II veterans and the Korean veterans. You want to talk about how much you love the military people who fought for your freedoms? Well, you spit in the face of those freedoms, so now you owe them to think, to figure it out. You don't have to go over there and shoot nobody for it. You just got to think. Make it hurt. Figure it out. How did I get so fucking ignorant to elect a punk-ass, stupid rich boy and let him be in charge of us? Established. That's the truth. Well, let me tell you how to start. How Trump okey doked you, part 1, part 2, part 3. Watch it. Thoughtfully ponder the words that are coming out of my mouth. Think about them. Let them rattle around. Try to apply my words to how you fucked up. And then fix it. And then come back and we'll keep building on this. I'll keep giving you reasons and I'll keep enlightening you. And eventually you'll get to the point where you can come back and forth with me. We can figure this shit out together eventually again. But right now you're too far behind. You're like, I'm like a college professor and you're like a kindergartner right now. So you got to build yourself back up to become my peer again. And once you get here, then we can discuss this and figure this shit out amongst ourselves. But right now, you're the student and I'm the teacher. And that truth is self-evident. Duh. No shit, I'm smarter than you. I know more than you. I've established it over and over again through my dialogue. Now, I don't know how good this went. I don't know how, because it's funny. It's funny. And I've always been like this. I've always been this type. I get complacent too easy. You know, I work better under pressure. I work better when, I need to. And for the last 4 years, I knew I was compelled at all times to be on here, typing, talking, fighting, whatever I needed to do. I was compelled because I knew it was down to the wire. I knew it was something that I absolutely had to be doing, no matter if it was making a difference or not. It was here, it was there. I had to get it out. I was compelled. But now that we've won, I don't feel as compelled. I don't feel as focused on the task at hand. It's like we've won a very big battle and I can get complacent for a while. And that's probably to your best interest because I'm probably going to be a lot nicer to you right now. I'm not going to be all up in your shit. I'm not compelled to rattle cages. I don't have an authority to fight against right now. Right now, the authority is going back in the direction I think it should be headed. So I don't feel like I'm threatened. Now I can get back to enlightening you because I've always wanted to just help you. I want to help you. And by helping you, that helps America. I understand that. I want to help you understand the error in your ways. I want to help you understand your ignorance and your preconceived notions and your cognitive dissonance. And I want to help you to apply these terms and make you understand and see where you went wrong so you can not go wrong again, or you could get better. I want to help you form a more perfect union within yourself. That's what I'm compelled to do now. And it's not as my blood was boiling for a good 4 years there. It was always on the brink of boil. I was ready to go. And now it's not so much. I'm not going to be as nasty. I'm not going to be as cold-blooded about it. I'm not going to be as in your face, rattle your cage, ruffle your feathers about it. I don't think that I need to do that right now. I never wanted to do that in the first place, but I knew I needed to then. I knew I needed to, first and foremost, I needed to stand up against your bullshit because it was a snowball going downhill that somebody needed to get in front of and start slowing down. Also, I wanted to empower all the other people that were afraid. They were intimidated by your violent act, your aggressiveness, your intimidation. I felt like I needed to stand up and say, "Hey, man, we gotta stand up to this. We gotta stand up to these bullies, these these conservative Christians and these nationalists, white nationalists. We have to stand up to the bad guys. Because if you don't stand up to the bad guys, then they just keep being bad. And eventually they make you bad and everybody else bad. So good has to stand up. Truth has to fight. You have to always fight for truth. And I'll continue to do so. The beast is caged up a lot better now. I let the beast out to play a lot. Now I'm not going to do that for a while. Unless I have to. So it's fair now. Now I want you guys to know that I'm going to try and be fair. I'm not going to be so mean to people. I'm trying not to be. If you look over the last little bit of my dialogue, I had gotten the sense that Joe was going to win a couple months ago. And I started being nicer, more thoughtful, having better conversations with people because I would take it. I'll take some of your ignorance now. I mean, I'll let you dish some of your ignorance at me before I spit it back in your face. I'll try to be thoughtful. I'll ask you thoughtful questions regarding your ignorance instead of throwing it back in your face that you're ignorant. I'll try and I'll lead you to water a little bit easily instead of dragging you there. And that's the mentality I have now. It's just not like it was before. And I just want you guys to know that. I want you guys to not be as, I don't want to say afraid or intimidated, because I don't want you to be as apprehensive about engaging with me now. Because I don't feel as threatened as I did. For America, for my kids. That's been about an hour. The Browns are on, and I want to watch them. And I'll have to go to work here in a little bit. So I might come back, have another one, maybe talk about the Browns win. I don't really want to talk about the Browns because I'm afraid I'm going to jinx myself. After all these years of being a Browns fan and just hoping and wishing and praying, and you start talking trash, and then it's like you jinx yourself. So I don't want to get too big for my britches on the Browns, so I'm trying not to talk about them too much. But it looks good. They're looking a lot better, and it's promising. Makes me feel good to be a Browns. I can actually sit and watch a game without wanting to break my TV, so that's a good thing. Now, as we're coming to an end on this Loonie Liberal Power Hour with your host, Lance Richards, I wanted to tell you to be strong, be thoughtful, be honest, be fair, take care of each other, try to endeavor to form a more perfect union. Remember that all people are equal. This is a government of, for, and by the people, and the people are in charge. We are in charge of ourselves, and we need to hold each other accountable, and we need to be accountable ourselves, because that's what this government is. That's what this country is about. People being accountable to each other. I hope you remember that and start taking care of each other. I love you guys. Dumbass out.